Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. You may be seated. Chapter 15 of the Gospel of Luke challenges us with 3 consecutive lost stories, two of which we read this morning. And as the chapter opens, we're given a little bit of the context here. The Pharisees and the scribes, the religious leaders of the day, were giving Jesus a hard time about the company that he was keeping. When they draw near to him, you can sense the tension immediately. They didn't come to him and say, listen, Jesus, we're concerned that maybe your reputation could be compromised when you consort with these shady individuals. Other people are going to think that maybe you're one of them, or that you're partaking in the same activities that they're partaking. No, what do? They storm up to him. You can kind of see their fingers in his face. They storm up to him in this very public way. And they don't even address him by name. They say, this man receives sinners and he eats with them. Accusation is visceral, that accusation. They're obviously not only trying to get under his skin, but also to call him out in this very public way, right? This is, they're raising their voices so that other people around him can hear their accusation. They're trying to tell him, essentially. As a parent of young kids, at this point in their lives, I'm really concerned about their level of loyalty to each other. These kids will just rat each other out at the drop of a hat. It's pretty crazy. Dad, Sophia took another cookie. All of you who are parents know exactly what I'm talking about. And you also know that there is a specific vocal tone or register that only is accessed when they're being tattletales. Right? That's the only time that you ever hear them hit that very specific tone. It's like kids are born with this pitch that they only use when they're telling on someone. It's the equivalent of nails on a chalkboard for me. Dad! You know what's coming. You know what's coming. So the Pharisees approach Jesus and out loud say, this man receives sinners and tax collectors, and he eats with them. They try to call him out. And what does Jesus do in response? Does he say, get your finger out of my face? Or does he say, This is what my kids do? No, he tells them a parable. And of course, whenever Jesus used these parables, these short, seemingly fictional stories that have this deeper underlying spiritual message, we, as the listener, are challenged on multiple fronts. The reason why is because there are multiple characters oftentimes in these stories, different perspectives, and we're invited to sit in the place of each character and see the story from their eyes. Understand the meaning from their perspective. Every player in the character, every emotion that they might be feeling. And that's how we truly, comprehensively get what Jesus is trying to say. So we get two of these 3 lost stories this morning, and I think in both of these we're challenged to ponder the meaning of lostness. What does it mean to be lost, or to feel lost? We're also challenged to get a sense of the urgency and the persistence on the part who's looking. And then finally, the overwhelming joy that is shared, is felt when the lost thing is located. Tell all my kids a little bit more of this, but my 3 kids each have unique abilities and strengths and things that they find challenging. They're very unique individuals. And for whatever reason, maybe you know this already, but for whatever reason, Eve has the keenest eyes I've ever seen in a kid. This kid sees stuff that I don't even see. When she was a toddler, I remember this one particular moment, she was barely walking and had, maybe a half dozen words in her vocabulary. And I remember one day I was holding her outside, and she looked up and pointed in a direction. She said, "Doggo. Doggo." I said, "Oh, you see a doggy? Where do you see it?" I looked around. I said, "No, I don't think you see a dog, sweetie." And nothing's around. And I asked her again. She said, "No, doggo." And I looked and I squinted and I strained, and there, a mile and a half down the road, sitting in the yard, laying down, was this dog that you could barely even see with binoculars. And she just spotted it as a tiny little kid. That's just how she is. She's got very keen eyes. So we call her the finder of the house. It's a very it's a special term. It's a large. She gets a little crown. No, I'm saying she's the finder of the house. It's an honorary title, but it means something all the same. I'll say, "Eve, can you help me find a Sharpie?" She'll be like, "Yes." Walk off. 5 minutes later, she's got a Sharpie in her hand. "Do you know where any Band-Aids are?" "Yes." She'll walk off. Someone come back. She's got 3 Band-Aids in her. She finds anything. Jonah, on the other hand, not as concerned with the tangible world around him. He's usually lost in his imagination or whatever the latest obsession, going on in his brain is. Most of you remember the Beatles stage that he went through. He's got a lot of obsessions, and he doesn't really the tangible world around him. He's not really concerned about that. Friday, he was getting ready for school, and he came to me and he said, "I can't find socks." I said, "All right, have you looked for them?" He said, "Yep. Can't find them." I said, "All right, well, where have you looked? Where are the socks normally?" He said, looked at me completely serious. And he said, "Well, usually they're on my feet." And as you can see, I cannot find them. So anyway, in these parables, we're expected to imagine what it's like to find something that's valuable, that has great value to the looker, something that's been missing. It's hard for us to quantify the joy that's in these stories, because with the exception of one, maybe two people in this room, not a lot of people in here own sheep. Right? And those who do own sheep, I don't think that they are your primary income. I don't think that your livelihood depends upon these sheep, as maybe the individual in the story. The shepherd in the story, this is his livelihood, spends day and night with these dumb animals. Never is there a moment where he parts ways from them. He's always with them. He sleeps. But in the doorway of the little round sheep pen, so that they can't get out and predators can't get in. There's an intimate connection here. But we do all know what it's like to lose something or someone that is valuable. Of course, in the second parable, a woman loses a silver coin. Notice the ratio shift here. The first story is 1 in 100. It's 1% of his herd. Second story, it's a woman that loses 1 of 10 precious coins. All of a sudden, 10% was the accountants in the room. It's 10% now that's been lost. And in the third story, which we don't get this morning, it's a son. 1 out of 2. 50% of the sons have been lost. So you get a sense of what's building here. Jesus is showing the value. He's connecting the value of the thing that is gone with the heart of the one that's seeking it. The idea is for us to wrap our minds around the value that God places upon each of us. We're more valuable to Him than livestock. We're more precious to Him than a lost silver coin. even more important to him than a lost son. Of course, the ultimate message here, I think, that it is conveyed in the last line of our gospel reading. To say, likewise, I say to you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God over one sinner who repents. These are stories of reconciliation, of reuniting with things that are lost, of sinners repenting. Jesus seems to be saying, you can't find something lost unless you're looking for it. You can't find socks if you're not looking in the sock bin, right? You can't find something that is out there unless you're actively going out, searching. How did this story begin? The tax collectors and the sinners are eating with Jesus. The Pharisees accuse him. He eats with these people. Jesus uses these stories to show why. If I lose my keys, I don't tell the kids, okay, everybody go next door in the neighbor's yard and look for Daddy's keys. No, I don't know why I would be in the neighbor's yard with my keys. I tell them to look in the places in which my keys are most likely to be found. Jesus is eating with sinners. Yes, this was a scandal. Sure. If you've ever eaten Middle Eastern food, if you've ever been to a Middle Eastern restaurant of some type, it's an intimate thing. Especially at this day and time. It's not like what we're used to where, everybody gets their plates with their food on it. I've got my plate with my food on it. You've got your plate with your food on it. No, this is family style. This is a plate in the middle. These are communal dishes. There's rarely a moment when utensils are used. You're pulling, meat from the same bone. You're touching the same food. You're breaking the same bread. This is intimate. There's intimacy in this action, and Jesus is doing this with tax collectors and sinners, taking part in this very intimate moment of sharing a meal. Pharisees say, you're going to get contaminated. Their ritual impurity is going to get on you. Their sinfulness is going to attach itself to you like a virus. This man consorts with these types of people. Not only that, but he eats with them. Jesus is not repulsed. He's not shocked by these tax collectors and sinners. He's not shocked by their behavior. He's not keeping his distance so he can preserve his reputation. No, he's a good shepherd. He's a good shepherd. A good shepherd seeks out. He goes out to find the lost sheep. He goes where the lost sheep are. Good shepherd goes to the places where the lost sheep can be found. The challenge for us this morning is, we cannot be too quick to ridicule the lost sheep around us because we once were lost. We were once far off. It's easy for many Christians, I think, to be vocally just disgusted by what they see in the world. Publicly just outraged by all the sinfulness that they encounter. Look how lost all these people are. Is that the heart of the shepherd? There are sheep that need to be found. There are precious coins that have been lost. There are sons who need to be welcomed home. That's the heart of the shepherd. I pray that is the heart that is birthed in us. We would see the world and those that are lost within it with the same eyes as he does. Let us pray to close. Holy Father, give us grace for others. Give us merciful hearts for the lost. Give us eyes to seek out those who are far off. Give us the same sense of urgency over those who do not know you. The same sense of rejoicing when a lost sheep comes back into the fold. We pray all this in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen.